Hey everybody, I'm Roy Cannaday, and today I'm taking a look at the Dunwich Horror Investigator Expansion. This is basically Fantasy Flight taking the entire mythos cycle of the Dunwich Legacy, and now they are splitting up all of the Investigator cards from the entire mythos cycle and all of the campaign cards. So that way you can kind of get it all together in big chunks. I'm not going to go through every single card in high detail, but let's take a look at what you get inside this box. So we're basically going to take a quick look here at what all comes in the Dunwich Legacy box. This is going to be all the Investigator cards from the entire Mythos cycle. So it shows here basically all the packs that it's normally from the cycle Dunwich Legacy. You're going to get all of the Investigator products that come in there. So you get this little rule sheet which kind of like explains a little bit about how some of the keywords for some of the cards work and the expansion icon, and explains how exile works and things like that. And of course, you get the stuff that even comes in the big box. So you get the character cards here. So you have your several new characters. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that you can check out. So we have Zoe. It's been so long since I've played the stuff, and all my stuff has been together. It just almost feels like some of the stuff was in the base set. But it is all new content for you that you can check out. Oh, Rex is cool. Rex is a lot of fun because he has to do a lot with a bunch of the things you can discover, locations and things like that. A lot of fun. And of course you have tons of treachery cards and all the different stuff for the new characters. But I'm basically just going to kind of go through a little bit of this stuff and give you guys a look at the different characters, but not go too, oh man, I always love Jim. I always love all the guys who can throw a bunch of spells and things like that. So it's always really fun, especially when you play with the different decks and things like that. Ash Campete, classic Ash Campete. And Duke, you can't get by without Duke. But yeah, so let's take a look. That is all the characters there. Let's take a look at a few of the cards you get here. So you get Blackjack, of course, a bunch more of the cards here. Emergency Aid. Ooh, additional hand slot for weapons. This is all like, it almost feels nostalgic at this point to go through a bunch of the cards that you get in the first Mythos cycle, just because it came out so long ago. Vicious Blow. It's like, Draw 2 cards and gain 2 resources. Always good. Of course, it costs 3 experience points. So if you're new to the game, basically the way it works is you're going to be having cards, the ones that cost 0 experience points, you're going to be able to build in your deck at the beginning of the game. But as the game goes along and as you play through the campaign, you're going to get experience points that you can spend. So there's, in the corner here, this card would cost 1 experience point to actually play out. So, and this one will cost 2. So as you play through the campaign, you're going to get these experience points that will allow you to build these cards in your deck. So this card's amazing because it allows you to draw 2 cards and gain 2 resources, but it costs 3 of your experience points that you'd have to have for the game there. You have this awesome Springfield. Oh man, +3 combat, +2 damage, cannot be used to attack enemies engaged with you, so you got to kind of hit them at range, but man, or unengaged from first, but that's pretty awesome. And I always like to play all of these cards. Library Assistant, Strange Solution. So this is one of the ones that's kind of interesting in the deck, where you put it in there and you have to do a test during the game, but after you've identified the Strange Solution, and in the campaign, this normally came out in a earlier pack, but now you're going to kind of get all this stuff together. So it was kind of interesting because it was kind of like a mystery to uncover. It's like, okay, I identified the Strange Solution, so I'd write that in my campaign. Well, since you have the whole Mythos cycle now, you're going to have the identified parts of the Strange Solution as well inside this pack. So yeah. Draw 3 cards. Love it. Pay 2, draw 3 cards. That's always fun. Being able to get those cards out that are crucial for building your deck. I love Pathfinder. Being able to move around the board. Higher Education. So many good cards. So many good cards that come in this cycle if you haven't played. And then these are all the things for the Strange Solution. You can have different versions of it that let you heal or evade or maybe be able to fight. Lots of cool things and interesting stuff that they did with that. But you get it all together now when you get the box here instead of having to get a little bit at a time. So yeah, tons of awesome cards that you get for the game. Lots of cool things that allow you to jump away from stuff, be able to test it skillfully by 2 or more. You can resolve it immediately, take more actions. lots of cool allies to help you out, and lots of exciting assets that help you fight. Get +2 strength for an attack. If you see by 2 or more, it deals +1 damage. Gotta sneak up on them. Lucky dice. Opportunist. Streetwise. I mean, I'm sure a bunch of these cards, if you play the game a ton, you'll recognize basically all of these. But yeah. Ritual Candles. Clarity of the Mind. Delve Too Deep. These are always awesome because, like, this card I specifically remember because it kind of makes things bad because you'll have to draw the top card from the encounter deck, which could be terrible. But then also you add it to the victory display, which will end up giving you extra experience at the end of the game. I would play with that a bunch back in the day. But yeah, lots of cool cards that you can add in there to be able to do cool stuff, get new spells, be able to fight with new cards and things like that. Shriveling, more powerful Shriveling, make it happen. It costs 3, but it's going to be able to do a bunch of damage. Let's do it. Blood Pact. Rite of Seeking, more Shriveling, level 5 Shriveling. I don't know. I like characters that can cast the spells. It's kind of cool. Fire Axe. All these cool cards in here that you can add into your deck to be able to build a bunch of different stuff. It's just interesting the way that this game does the experience point system. So it, like, even though you can't deck build a ton, it feels exciting when you get those couple more experience points and make those meaningful decisions on which cards am I actually going to add into my deck and not add into my deck. Then you have a bunch of neutral cards, which can kind of be played with anybody there. And some of these will be, maybe the campaign-specific ones are in here, or maybe they're actually in the campaign box. Maybe this is just, it looks like this is just for deck building. That's cool. Yeah, so this is just for the deck building stuff. So there's none of the campaign-specific characters in here, I don't think. Yeah, so you can put all of this stuff. All of this stuff is new stuff that you can add to your deck as you're playing the game. And then these are all of the new characters you'll be able to have. So you're going to have the 5 new characters, a gigantic stack of stuff you can add to your deck, and then more treacheries that can be shuffled into your deck when you're building your deck at the beginning of the game. So as you play through different campaigns, your game can be slightly different as you have different weaknesses and injuries and madness and things like that. So that's basically what comes in the Dunwich Legacy Investigator Expansion. So it's kind of interesting the way that Fantasy Flight is now divvying these up. And I know sometimes it was kind of hard, especially with some of the older sets, to necessarily find a place that had all of the different cards in stock. Like, you might be playing through the Mythos cycle and there might be one pack out of stock and you're not able to get that pack to finish your campaign. I know I had some issues with that when I was really enjoying the Dunwich Legacy cycle and things like that. Be like, oh, I need to get the next pack, but it's currently not in stock. Now it needs to come back in stock. But this is a way to get all of the Investigator cards in one fell swoop for the entire Mythos cycle, which can really help you beef up your decks a lot. And they're going to be doing these, I think, with a lot of the different cycles of the game, so you can really get a ton of cards to help you build those decks. Also, they're going to have a campaign box for this as well, so that way you can go through the entire Dunwich Legacy cycle campaign. I really enjoy the cycle of the campaign. I feel like Dunwich Legacy is really what made me fall in love with the Arkham horror card game. I mean, the choices and decisions you make, there's meaningful choices that will affect later in the campaign and things like that. So if you're brand new to the Arkham horror card game, this will be a great way to get a ton more cards to build into your deck. I mean, if you only have the base game, I would probably get the campaign one before getting this one, just because this is just going to be a ton more cards, but you're still only going to have like the first few scenarios from the core set. So if you get the campaign, you're going to have a ton of campaign to go through, but not necessarily the cards to beef up your character to be able to win it in the end. It might be a little bit more difficult. You might have to play on an easier difficulty or something like that. But if you get both of them, then you have the entire cycle and you're able to kind of go through everything. This would be great if you're a veteran of the Arkham horror card game and just really need these cards to build more decks at the same time. I mean, I know a lot of people deck build and switch things out constantly, but if you're tired of doing that and you really wish you wanted to have more of those Dunwich Legacy cards in your deck, you could always grab this to be able to build out a bunch of Investigators and not have to be changing as many of those cards in and out. I mean, there are a ton of great and interesting cards in here, and I mean, if you're a veteran of the game, you already know what's coming inside this box anyway. So I really enjoy Arkham Horror, the card game. I love the decisions and things you make in the game, and this is just a new way for them to package the stuff. I mean, these are the cards you get in the game, so you basically know exactly what you're getting, and I mean, a lot of the stuff online is kind of out there. It's like, okay, you get these specific cards, you can build these decks with it, you need more of this, but this is the first Mythos cycle that they're doing this with. But yes, if you like Arkham Horror, check it out. I really enjoy it, and this is the campaign that made me fall in love with it, and these are the cards that help me build my decks. So if you're interested in that stuff, check it out. If you're new to the game, this is a great place to start. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me for checking out the Dunwich Legacy Investigator Expansion, and I've been Roy Cannaday, and I'll see you on the next one.